I think storytelling is one of the most important things that is not often taught to competitors. From a competitive standpoint, the stories that I think are super important are the ones that you talk to yourself and tell yourself about yourself. So little things like I was talking to somebody and they were like, oh yeah, I suck at jerks, I'm probably always gonna suck at jerks. That's a story you tell yourself about your capabilities, both in the moment and probably setting the tone for how you actually are going to develop in that skill in the long term. Because if you're telling yourself that over and over and over again, I suck at this, I don't have the right joint mechanics for this, I don't like doing this, then you're constantly gonna reinforce and feed that loop. So once upon a time, the actual story. So this is a person. Young girl, say foreign country. I'm not gonna tell you who it is. We'll see if anybody can guess it at the end of this. Foreign country, she grows up. She's super wealthy. So both parents are super high IQ. One's in corporate America. The other, I'm not really sure what they do. But it's pretty well documented that she's super wealthy, has the best coaches growing up. So constant refinement of her skills, hired the best coaches, hired the best professional chefs, perfect body composition and anthropometrics for the sport, because that's what happens all the time, right? The best athletes, best builds for the sport. They're just built correctly. They have everything that goes right in their direction. Perfect body composition, traveled the world to compete, never had a serious injury, never lost in the professional career. So obviously she had losses leading up to being a pro. She had injuries, but nothing that was like, I dislocated my elbow and had to get surgery, tore my ACL, like any of the major things that kept her out from her competitive career. Retired happily, lived to 84 years old, passed away. They do a bunch of documentation on her family, people around her, and pretty much considered one of the happiest, most fulfilled people that there is, just in terms of how she approached life, like the struggles that she felt in her athletic career, just pretty at peace. Does anyone know who this is? Anyone even have a guess? Brandy? Brandy's dead already. She's just an old 84-year-old dead athlete. This is no one. This is just some arbitrary bullshit story that I wanted to tell. The reason I tell this is because I think this is what people do, not in this same exact fashion, but this is what people do when they imagine what their heroes, their idols, the people that are pushing them are like. They don't humanize them, they idolize them. They make some unrealistic, fabricated story about everything that went right for them so that they could justify and victimize the things that aren't going right for them on their quest. So you don't have money? Oh, then you're gonna find all the people out there that are wealthy, that have the resources to get the coaching that they want. If you're short and you compete in a sport that people are successful and tall, you're gonna think and notice all the tall people around. In CrossFit specifically, if you're really tall, you're gonna be like, oh, well, the short people get better gymnastics, better burpees, this. And if you're short, you're gonna be like, oh, well, you know, tall people get better at wall balls, better at running, better at rowing. Like there's always some sort of story or narrative that people are telling themselves about the people that are better than them. When we start our athletic quests, we have these naive mind states about what it takes, and we tell ourselves stories. I call these fantastical stories because they're made up in our imagination based on what we think it takes to become a high-level athlete. These are the 5 most common fantastical stories I hear people telling themselves that stop them from reaching their athletic potential.